In Peru, Kiyosaki once asked a gold miner, a man who'd spent 45 years at it, how he could be so confident of finding a gold mine. The old man's answer became one of the book's best lines. There is gold everywhere. Most people are not trained to see it. Kiyosaki says the same thing happens to him in real estate. He can walk a neighborhood and find 4 or 5 promising deals in a day, while the average person walking the same streets finds nothing. Same streets, same gold. Different training. Last episode named the 5 wolves that stand between people and the life they say they want. This episode, the last one, is the training. What Rich Dad actually left the boys with. The daily practices that turn someone who knows the method into someone who does it. And the first practice has nothing to do with money at all. Kiyosaki once asked a young swimmer chasing the United States Olympic team what fueled it. The 4 a.m. mornings, the missed parties, the years of it. She said, "I do it for myself and the people I love. It's love that gets me over the hurdles." That's practice 1. Before the money, a reason. Kiyosaki is blunt that without one, the road is too long and every step will feel too steep. No formula survives contact with a tired Tuesday. And a real reason, he says, is built from both directions. The don't wants. His own list includes a father who worked his whole life and missed the football games, and still couldn't pass on what he'd earned. And the wants. To be free, to control his own time, to have money work for him. Deep, emotional, personal, and slightly embarrassing to say out loud. That's how you know it's real. He wanted to be free by 40. It took until 47, with losses along the way. The reason is what kept him standing up. Practice 2. With every dollar and every hour, you're choosing what to invest in first, and Rich Dad's order was fixed. Mind before money. Kiyosaki tells of a friend whose apartment was burglarized. The thieves took the electronics and left all the books. He means it as a joke and a diagnosis. Most people's spending follows the thieves' taste. So put things in your head on purpose. Learn one formula for making money. Kiyosaki's first was buying foreclosed houses. Learned in a weekend class and practiced for years. Then, once it's mastered, go learn another. In a fast world, he says, it's not what you know that pays anymore. What you know grows old. It's how fast you learn. And guard the doorway. Choose teachers who have actually done the thing, and be careful whose warnings you let in. Learn from everyone, Kiyosaki says. He has friends who've taken vows of poverty and friends worth millions, and both teach him, but don't take directions from frightened people, however much you love them. Richard's neighbor from last episode is always leaning over some fence. The training is knowing which voices get a vote. Here's what the training looks like when someone actually gives it. Kiyosaki's favorite kind of story, in the season's last parable. A friend of his had a 16-year-old son who wanted a car, and the easy moves were sitting right there. Buy the boy a car, or let him drain his savings. The father did neither. He gave his son $3,000, with a catch. You can't buy a car with it. Turn it into $6,000 in the stock market, and the 6 is yours for the car, and the original 3 goes back to your college fund. The boy got lucky early, then lost nearly everything within days. And that's when something unexpected happened. He got interested. He read every book his father gave him and went to the library for more. He started reading the financial pages like other kids read the sports section. Down $2,000, he'd stopped caring much about the car. He found a game more interesting than the prize. That's the best $3,000 I've ever spent on his education, the father told Kiyosaki. I'd rather he lose it at 16 than learn nothing and risk everything at 45. Every practice in this episode is hiding in that story. A reason. Learning before earning. Losses as tuition, not tragedy, the Alamo lesson. One generation down. The gold, it turns out, isn't the 6,000. It's the boy at the library. The last practices are the smallest, and they all say the same word. Go. Start small. Kiyosaki calls it planting seeds in the asset column. Some grow, some don't. and the first ones teach you more than they earn you. Make offers. You don't know the real price of anything until someone can say yes or no, and most people never find out because they never ask. Walk one neighborhood 10 minutes a month and watch for change, because a bargain plus change equals opportunity. He found some of his best deals jogging. Shop where the crowd isn't. When supermarkets hold a sale, people rush in. When markets hold a sale, people run away. And profits, he says, are made when you buy, not when you sell. And through all of it, the one law with no exceptions: action always beats inaction. The gold doesn't come to the trained eye. It comes to the trained eye that goes. There's one last lesson in the book, and Kiyosaki says if he could leave a single idea behind, this is it. It came from Rich Dad, who gave money away even when he was short. Whenever you feel you don't have enough of something, money, a smile, help, love, give some first. Teach what you know, and you'll understand it twice as well. He didn't offer it as mysticism, just as 50 years of results. The tide you start tends to come back in. Which is, if you think about it, what a book is. A man had two fathers, took notes for 40 years, and gave the notes away. And that's where this series ends, where it began, with two voices. Because you have both dads in your head now. You always did. This book just introduced you formally. One voice says, play it safe. I can't afford it. Don't stand out. What if you lose? It loves you. It's afraid for you. The other asks, how can I afford it? What's the lesson? Where's the asset? Who can teach me? Every day, at the kitchen table, at the mailbox, at the store, one of them speaks first. Choosing which one to listen to is the entire book, and nobody can make the choice but you. So here's a first step small enough for this week. Pay yourself first, even if it's almost nothing, and put one thing in your head on purpose. It could even be this book. It's short. It reads in a weekend, and it's earned its place on this channel's shelf. Whatever the arguments about the man and the details, and there are some, the reframe at its heart has changed how 40 million people look at their own front door. The gold is everywhere. Now you're trained to see it.